Okay, so we'll discuss something today I've been kind of observing and thinking about for a long time. And the thing that has caused this to happen is I run into a lot of people that are playing the banjo, and they've been playing for a year, 2 years, 5 years, and they're having a lot of trouble with inconsistency. So when they play a song, they'll play it different ways. And I don't mean improvisation. Their intention is to play it a certain way that they learned on tablature, but for some reason, well, I know the reason, but they end up playing the lick slightly different. They may change fingers, they may miss a note, and I was trying to figure out what to do. And if somebody's been playing for 5 years and they've got 10 or 15 songs, and they, in a lot of these songs, they can kind of play them, except they'll have a measure in there where they miss it and then they get off. So when they're playing by themselves, it's not that big a deal, because if you miss a beat, you can continue. Now, when you start playing with others, that's when it would show up. So the point of this is what I do when somebody has played 5 years. First of all, I get the arrangement they're playing. Hopefully they have the tablature with them, and we start a measure at a time. Now, this can be excruciating if you've been playing the song for 2 years. If somebody is just starting and they're just going to learn this song for the first time, I do the exact same thing, but of course, since it's a new thing, it doesn't carry some of that baggage that if you've been playing it for 10 years. So let's talk about this. Okay, so you need to get the song, the lick, in your head, first of all, because your head will then direct your fingers and tell the fingers what to play. So I'm going to take the first few measures of Foggy Mountain Breakdown to illustrate this. Now, we're not going to use tab, and so the first measure of Foggy Mountain Breakdown is you do a hammer on, then you do another hammer on, then you do a first string, and then you play a forward roll. 5, 2, 1, 5. Okay? And you can rewind this as much as you want to. So you can either go left brain, which means we measure it as, we think of it as second string hammer on, second string hammer on, first string, fifth string, third string, first string, fifth string. Okay? So once you know that cold, then you can play it a little faster. So you might go, and I'm gonna move this phone just a little bit so you can see my right hand. Okay, so let's try it again. 3, 4. It doesn't matter how slow you play it. The idea to get a perfect photograph of it in your mind, it has to be accurate. And you attempt the first time you play it to play it exactly perfect. Okay? So let's do that again. 3, 4. Now, what we're going to do is play it 5 times. If you miss it, you have to start all over. So we go 1. That's 1. 3, 4. Now, if you're thinking about other things, it could take you 5 or 10 minutes to kind of get focused and calm down, where you can play that 5 times in a row. Okay, so number 1, we have it in our head. Number 2, we transfer to our fingers. Number 3, we play it 5 times in a row, and if we make any mistakes, we have to start all over. Then we go to the second measure, and what we're doing is we're doing a hammer on, then we play the first string, then we come down with our thumb and do another hammer on. Okay, let me do that again. 3, 4. Okay, now make sure you have that before you go on. So we're going to do it one more time. 3, 4. Now this time we're going to do a roll, 5, 2, 1, 5, but we're going to be holding down the 3rd string 2nd fret. Okay? Let's try that again. 3, 4. Now if you're just beginning, literally take a piece of paper and write down each of these notes. It might take you 10 minutes, but just keep rewinding until whatever's on that paper is exactly what is being played. Okay, so let's do that one again. So it's 3, 4. Again, 3, 4. Once again, if you miss it, start all over. Play it 5 times perfectly. Now, after about an hour of this, playing these 2 measures, we will attempt to put them together. So here's what it would sound like. 3, 4. Okay, let's say that's 20 minutes. So let's say we have an hour and a half in this. And you're going, wow, that was excruciating. But think about this. I work with people who have been playing that for 5 years and they miss it. Okay? So they have probably, where it took you an hour and a half to get these 2 measures together, in 5 years, they have probably played this like 300 hours. And they can't play it, okay? So an hour and a half to get it right is just a minuscule amount of time compared to what will happen if it's not clear in your mind. Okay. Now, so what happens when somebody comes to me or they come to a camp, all right? Why is that different than just watching this and doing it yourself? And here's the answer. It's called feedback. So, if you're playing, and I'm going to do this again. Okay, so that's how I'm going. Well, in this case, you saw that I played the thumb twice in a row. Now, at a real slow speed, you can do that. But as soon as you speed up, it doesn't work, okay? So what happens is I listen to you. Okay? And I will do whatever it takes for you to learn that. I might record it on a CD and have you play it over and over. I might work with you for 10 minutes until you have it, and then ask you to work another 10 minutes on your own. I will then come back and listen to it and see if it's correct. If it isn't, we'll start all over. So before it's over, you know that lick, all right? And then you start putting licks together, and it's... And all of a sudden, even though you can play each one, when you put them together, it distracts you, so you aren't playing that. So from a feedback standpoint, once again, we sit until you have it. Now the good news is once you've got these licks, you can then use them in other songs. Here's an example. So Fog Mount Breakdowns. Okay, we were playing Little Maggie the other day, and it was... See, see how those first two measures will fit in Little Maggie. Now we'll do it in 9-pound hammer. May not line up with the melody, but here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? So all of a sudden, by investing that hour and a half and getting it perfect, you now have a lick that you can use for the rest of your life. And that's just something that I believe. I could be wrong. It's just something that I've tried and it's worked, and requires a lot of patience. And if it takes somebody who's been playing this for 5 years, if I have to sit there for 2 hours and work with you, no problem. I'm totally relaxed because I know that this is lightning fast. All right. Now, when we do our clinics, and you may have seen the extended weekend retreats, we have one teacher for every 2 students. And that lets us do jam sessions. We have a full band. So if we have 3 teachers and 6 students, we have 9 people there. We can actually form 2 or even 3 complete bands and do jamming. Then we can have individual sessions where you work with the teacher that you like. And while all this is going on, I'm kind of watching. And if you ask the teacher a question and they answer it, and it's, how do I put this? But many times, just like when you pick up the banjo, you don't get ready. The teacher, as soon as you ask them a question, they start talking. Wouldn't it be nice if they thought for a second? Now, and they might say something like, you know what? I've never thought about that. Let me think about this for a minute. And then they answer it, or they might say, look, ask me that in about 30 minutes and I'll have thought about it. All right? So one of the things that I watch with the other teachers is I want to make sure that when an answer is given, that it makes sense and that it's explained to where the student understands it. All right. Now, if you have 5 people and 1 teacher, you can't do that. In fact, with 5 people and 1 teacher, the teacher can't even distinguish between the different players. So if all are playing at once, the teacher has no idea if somebody's making a mistake. If they hear a mistake, they don't know who made it, because it's just kind of a din. All right. So, anyway, this is something that I've been working on now for probably about 15 years, and we're finally starting to relax ourselves as instructors. We've worked through a lot of different things. We've done about 50 of these, and we're learning how to identify issues and how to best teach students. All right, so this started out as how to learn a lick, how to prevent not playing something 5 years after you learn it, and then we kind of morphed into our extended weekend retreats, where we have some where you can go for 3 days, and when you leave, your knowledge will have increased tenfold. And that's it. So hopefully this has been interesting. It's been long, and see you next time.